Hey, it's Rob and welcome to Axel's Garage. We are on the home stretch with the front end on Cosmo here. I just sent Amanda to go get some castle nuts. Because if you remember way back at the beginning, and the whole playlist for this front end is in the description below, those castle nuts were rotted really bad. So I sent her to get some new castle nuts so I could put the steering linkage back together. But in the meantime, we're going to put in the steering stabilizer. We ordered one.
Balls.
We ordered one on Amazon from Rough Country. We'll see. The old steering stabilizer, as you saw in the previous video, leaked all its fluid while we were futzing with other stuff, so that's getting replaced too. A lot of noise in the background because Mark and the little big dummy are doing something else. Let me show you. That is not Wanda. This is Heifer. We'll call her Heifer because we're only using her for parts. So Heifer's engine, transmission, transfer case is coming out, and we're actually going to steal that door off of her for Wanda. So Amanda just called, and she struck out at the local parts store for castle nuts. So she's going to the next place. So what we're going to do is take this bracket that's got to go on your, I guess this is a, it's actually connected. This is the one side tie rod, I guess you could call it. I don't know, whatever it is. Tapered here is going to go in here, and we are going to blast it on. We just got to go get a tool because the guys over yonder stole my tools. See what size it is. I think they stole my sockets too. It's got to be a 3/4, so it's a 3/4. And let me go get my tool and we'll blast it on. All right, got my tool back from the dummies. And hopefully this will suck in nice and not spin. All right, and that's in. Some of these come with a, instead of this cone shaped thing here, it comes with a sort of a nut molded into it so that you can put a wrench on it to hold it back. But it wasn't necessary. It sucked in nice. Looks like it's pretty much all the way in. I'll double check it. That's in there nice and tight. This end is going to get the shock, and now we can move everything into position where it's supposed to go. So this one goes up to that knuckle, this side goes to this knuckle, and the steering stabilizer itself is going to go across here. I have to wait for those nuts from Amanda before I can get that in, because I sort of want this in the right position before I start trying to attach the steering stabilizer. I guess what I could do is put it up on the big end, or the small end I should say, which is this end here. So you got one end that comes with a sleeve, one end that comes a little bigger with no sleeve, and the no sleeve end fits nice on this part that we just bolted in. The sleeved end also comes with a bolt with a sleeve and a nut and all this hardware. The sleeve doesn't fit in here because there's already a sleeve in it. The bolt is actually sloppy in it. So what did I do? I went QR code, which is the only way you get directions for anything nowadays. Even menus in restaurants. This is bullshit. I need a cell phone to do a QR code. And in the directions it actually says that in this application, don't use that. Use your factory nut and bolt, which is a 12 millimeter. And that's what's going to go in on that end. So I'll take my factory 12 millimeter. I will lube it up with some white grease. So hopefully it will not seize up and rust inside that sleeve like things normally do. So I'll give it a nice coating of synthetic white grease, and then we'll come up under, slide it into its home, which I don't think you guys can see, so I will move the camera for you. For your viewing pleasure, of course. Alright, so I'll give it a little wiggle in, because it is tight going in there, and then see if I can find the hole.
Rob, you done with that half-inch gun?
Yeah.
Steven likes kicking the shit out of himself and working hard.
I don't know where it is, but
Where's the Gazinta? You left it out by the...
it's in the car.
Okay.
Alright. Little jiggling. Got it all the way in. Take my nut on the back side, and this is in, and I could just leave it loose like that. I'm not going to tighten anything up until I get the other end connected, and I can't get the other end connected until I get the castle nuts. Alright, well, Amanda got the castle nuts. Of course, you can't just get one castle nut. You got to go and get 2 packages of an assortment, and she goes to the auto parts store. The first auto parts, they didn't have any. The second one she goes to, first one was sort of like a local chainish one, and that guy just took one look at it and said we don't have it, which I bet they did have, and he just doesn't know where they are. The second one was Advance Auto, and she goes in and asks the guy, you have these castle nuts, and he needed year, make, model, does it have AC? And he couldn't find any, and I told her where to look on the shelves, and she found it. So, slide this up and into place. Which we need to turn the wheel a little bit, a little too much. There we go. Started to hold in place. Shut up! And then we got to put the other one on the other end. Okay. Something in there. Put a little dab of white grease just on the threads, just a little tiny dab because they are pretty crusty. And hopefully this thing will turn on nice. That one's a little rough. And of course it's starting to rain a little bit. That's just my luck. Just using a ratcheting combination wrench because the dummies have all my tools out doing what they're doing. So I'm just going to snug it up and then we'll give it its 35 foot-pounds. Alright, so there's snug. I'm happy with that. Now we need to fish this guy up to his final resting spot, which is going to be all the way up here. which is, that was the dog shaking the camera. Which we're not going to be able to. We got to move the light. All right, so that shock is going to go up, or shock steering stabilizer is going to go up on that mount. I am going to put some white grease around the shaft where the rubber bushing is going to sit on, so we don't get rust in between the rubber bushing and the shaft where it goes through. And we're going to take this, pop it up, and then we need to pull the shock out. Now this kind of shock is, it's like neutral. It's not like a shock that's always pushing out. It is, it's got like a neutral balance to it, so pushing it in is just as much effort as pulling it out. And that's why it's a steering stabilizer, not a shock absorber. Alright, let's see what size this guy is. It's not that size. It is that size, 11/16. So, you know, American cars, anywhere from like 82 to 2000, maybe even farther, right? What's the deal? It's everything is a mix of metric and standard. Alright, that should be plenty tight enough. Alright, so with the steering stabilizer installed, I could tighten my 2 tie rod castle nuts that Amanda went to get, and she's right here with the dog, just off camera. He's being camera shy now. He only likes to walk into the camera, apparently. So I'll put the 2 castle nuts to 35 foot-pounds, I'll put cotter pins through them, and then we're going to hit all the Greek circs in the front end and get that all lubed up. Alright, go, come on.
Come on, man. Let's go to the house.
I don't think this thing has been greased ever. These joints are like empty. Okay, that's the steering stabilizer. It's in. We got everything greased up. Front end's back connected. The only thing I didn't do, which I said I was going to do first, is I still got to torque down the tie rod and bolts. Those we're going to go to 35 with a cotter pin in it. Do the cotter pin however you like to do it. And remember, 35, and then if the holes don't line up, tighten a little bit more until the next hole lines up. Put the cotter pin in, and we could put the wheels on this thing and get it down on the ground, fill it up with oil, and get going. We did dump the oil. We changed the diff fluid in a previous video. This one was pretty much just buttoning up the front end and getting the steering stabilizer in. Comments, questions, concerns? Have you had a never-ending project like this recently? Let me know, and as always, thanks for watching.